Thank you.
Well, that is a frustrating way to lose in overtime. The party gets spoiled in Nash Vegas 4-3. The Predators win it over the Oilers in the extra frame. Hello, everybody. Tom Gazzola, Shawn Belle with you, live on location, Boston Pizza, Clareview. We had a great time regardless of the result, although there were some salty people in here watching that overtime.
There was a lot of salt in here.
It was salty.
Oh, man.
Benny Thompson back at EST Global HQ. Of course, you can jump into the conversation. Text us 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. And, GCL diesel providers of the best diesel engine components around, from turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors. They are the critical engine component experts, proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years. Before we dive into this one, especially that overtime and especially some of those penalty calls late in the game, Belzy, huge shout out to everyone who came out to BP Clareview tonight. We gave away some prizes, a pair of tickets to Oilers Carolina. Nasty showed up, Vera Montenegro, his lovely wife Ginger, Tube Socks, El Presidente, his lovely girlfriend. We had the Combine crew here. We had my parents here. We got Dave and Mary, and then the boys from Boston Pizza 170th, where we will be on Saturday. Tony was telling us that with the tie-in with football over the weekend, probably grand prize or some prizes involving jerseys, NFL jerseys. So
I'm getting involved.
We're going to have an excellent time on Saturday at BP 170th, and it was a great time here at Boston Pizza Clareview. Shout out to Sarah, Bree, Jaden, and the entire crew here. Jason and Lisa do a phenomenal job making this a very fun place to come to watch the Oilers, hopefully win, but then blow a game like that.
Yeah, I mean... interesting game. Kind of back and forth, a little sloppy, early goings. But Nashville kind of imposed their will, in my opinion, in the third period.
And a lot of the action was in the Oilers zone.
A lot of it was, and Nashville did a great job of clogging up the middle, taking away lanes.
By Trace.
Bye-bye. Being hard to play against. And they forced everything to the outside. And then on the flip side, when they got into the offensive zone, they were buzzing the whole time in the zone. Yeah. And the Oilers couldn't keep them outside. Everything that happened, they were crashing the net. There was bodies in front. Pucks were getting there. It was almost like a wave that just kept going in the Oilers defensive zone. So in the third period in particular, I think that Nashville truly carried the play. And if it wasn't for Jarry, that game's over in regulation.
He made some excellent saves.
He made some very good saves.
That one at the end was that bunting where he got his leg out. There's one we're watching now on Stamkos. And there was a few really nice saves where he kept them in. It gave the Oilers a chance.
Yes.
And listen, man, the Oilers had possession in overtime, and
they really
didn't do anything with it. They just looped and looped and looped. But
even if you look at it, and part of why I was kind of laughing in here because people were screaming, shoot the puck. And it goes back to what I just mentioned about how they were clogging up the middle. You look at what they were trying to do where they kept swinging and dropping. Well, they're doing crosses and drops so that they can try to pull guys out of their position. But Nashville was very patient defensively. They stayed in the middle of the ice. And even when Connor tried to attack, it was a 1-on-3 because that was just what they decided to do. They said, we are not going to run out of position to try to cover you guys. You guys got to get through the middle of the ice if you guys want to score a goal. So even if they decided they wanted to shoot that puck, where's that shot coming from? It's coming from above the top of the circles with guys in front of me. Exactly. And guys in front of them. And that should be a save in the NHL. So Nashville does a great job. The Oilers, you could argue, pissed it away. But to me, they were just outcompeted tonight.
Nashville seemed a very motivated bunch, not happy with what happened to them here in Edmonton, last week. And you could tell. Listen, I'm not going to say it was tired legs or anything like that from an Oilers point of view. They seemed to be fit and ready to go and had some jump, took the lead. gave it up 38 seconds later. I will give Nashville credit for playing a scrappy game.
Yes.
And making it difficult for the Oilers. And UC Saros made a few decent saves. I think Tristan Jarry was tested more.
Yep.
It was his first game back. We'll probably dive into that a little bit, obviously. We'll get some thoughts from everybody watching and listening. Let's go to Benny Thompson back at EST Global HQ. Benny, what did you take away from that game tonight?
I thought Nashville actually played a pretty solid game. There was a couple turnovers, but for the most part, man, they played pretty well. If you had to grade each team, their grade's definitely higher than the Oilers. The Oilers had a lot more better to give than what they got tonight. Now, I'm saying that 1 point isn't the worst thing in the world. We're talking if McDavid breaks through a couple guys and they score, we're talking about good win for the Oilers, blah blah blah. So it's the difference of one play. In overtime, guys, those top guys were just bagged, and you can tell. And in that last play where I can't remember what defenseman flicks it over Bush's head, Draisaitl completely quits on the play because he's bagged. McDavid's trying to change and allowed Nashville. And then
McDavid wasn't even trying to change. He was trying to cherry pick, hoping for that play where Jarry can shoot that puck up and he can get a quick breakaway. Sorry to interrupt you, no, he definitely was not changing. He was goal sucking there.
He was goal sucking. So he leaves the frame. Leaves the frame. But it forced Jarry to go and grab that puck. And anyone that's blaming Tristan Jarry, I think every goalie should be doing that. I think every goalie should be, because if you're going to allow that Nashville guy to come in on a breakaway and let's say he scores, everyone's going to be screaming at Tristan Jarry, why didn't he not go and grab it? He could have gotten it in time. So, rough play, but yeah, you need a better back check there from Leon, who was obviously just dead tired from a shift. So, yeah. Yeah,
and to add to that, Benny, I think that, just to add to it, Draisaitl does back check right at the last little bit of it where he lifts that stick. Yeah. But Bouchard, if he's not in the net and he actually says, okay, well, I'm going to go to the other guy that's wide open, we may have a situation where even if that puck does get across, maybe Bouchard's in a good enough position where he can now intercept it or disrupt the timing, poke it away, whatever you need to do. I just think the whole sequence of it, like you mentioned, was sloppy, and part of it was just because they were just bagged. And you get to that point and you hope that they can get a change in, but it was a great play by the Nashville defender. Like, let's turn this thing up right away. Let's get on the offense and let's try to attack guys that are tired.
That was Brady Shea who made that play.
Great play.
That little chip, and you're going, what is he doing? And you're like, that's going to be trouble. And sure enough, there was. I understand where Jarry's mentality was I got to go get this puck, play it, beat him to the puck. Kind of flubbed it. I can't remember. Did Yossi get his stick on Jarry's stick?
I think he was just trying to poke it by him so that maybe Draisaitl, if he was back checking, he could get that puck and just disrupt once again the timing of the play. So I don't personally blame Jarry on that particular situation. I think he was just trying to make sure that the puck could be turned over quickly instead of having a breakaway against him in OT with guys coming back. But just the rest of the way that it was played out, in my personal opinion, I didn't think it was great.
I think a lot of people would agree with you. And let's go into the inbox and the Nasty Chat, 780-218-9999. And then Nasty Chat over on the YouTube side. Let's go to Nolan from St. Albert. Says, born too late to explore, born too early to explore the cosmos, but born just in time to watch the Oilers struggle to win a Stanley Cup with two of the greatest players of all time. It was game 47 tonight, guys. They should have won that game, but it was game 47. And they did get a point, 3 out of 4 in this back-to-back. No, they can't win 3 in a row, and we'll see how they regroup against the Islanders on Thursday. What do you got?
Pat Chanix goes, I wonder if Belsey will be back-checking harder next Friday than McDavid did in overtime. No. I will have the exact same level of effort. However, the difference is I am retired.
Yes. Although when you want to,
actually,
you can still
I might have less effort because I am retired. Sorry, not happening.
Belsey, of course, part of the Oilers alumni team, taking on the team from Shoresy We have John Morasti joining us on Hello Hockey this Saturday.
Yes, we do. Yep.
He, longtime tough guy, and now is on Shoresy. So that's going to be a great addition to the show, and we're going to have a lot of fun on Saturday. Okay, great point. Great point by PJ there.
Oh, too much.
Good old Jug. I want to read this one. It's got a lot of expletives.
Oh, boy.
It's from Philly4203. Get Mangiapane off this team, and getting Jarry was the worst decision Bowman has made since not matching Holloway or Broberg. Sure, we will miss the playoffs. First round only. I just wanted to read that because of the expletives. I'm going to be honest with you. Marcus, the Caps fan, texts in, says, way to call it, Bellsy. Yes, it's not the first time Dry and or McDavid gave up on a play or cheat in overtime and cost them. Not the end of the world, but if you're bagged, it's your fault. That's from Marcus, the Caps fan. And then, this one. This one says, Jarry had to put in some extra lateral movements tonight, which made me a little nervous, and he was fine. Also, I'm from Cincinnati, Ohio. All right.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and then says, watching the boys just jog back on defense at the end there just physically hurt me. Can't put that on Jarry. That's from Cincinnati, Ohio. No name, but I'll add it to the database. I'll put Cincinnati in there.
Yeah, I love it.
There we go. Benny, what do you got?
I'm back to the first texter. Just touch on Mangiapane. Again, to the pregame show talk we were having, I don't understand how they take out Lazar and they keep Mangiapane in. I don't understand it. And I think the first goal, Mangiapane turnover, and it leads to a goal. He had a really bad penalty that he took in the third period.
That was a bad penalty.
Like, just why? Why? Started a couple scrums here and there, man, but like I send him out, dude. I'm done. I'm done with trying to see him play. And like, I don't know if they're trying to showcase him and try to get his trade value up or whatever, but it's clear he doesn't want to be here. He hasn't been productive. Okay. Like you got to keep him scratched till he's traded, in my opinion. Curtis Lazar on that first goal that the Oilers allowed makes the safe play there. He doesn't cost you. That's the good thing about Curtis Lazar as a fourth line center. He knows his role and he knows to play safe. Mangiapane takes a bad risk, leads to a goal. That's to me. Those are little lineup decisions that I think could have had a different outcome to the game today. And Mangiapane should probably sit for this.
Yeah, the thing I don't like about that first goal is, you try to make that move. Okay, great. But you turn the puck over and then you coast back. Like, to me, you make that play, you turn it over, and you're trying to showcase yourself to other teams because you're unhappy with your spot. Well, then you better get back as fast as you possibly can to try to break up that play. But if you're just going to coast back and you're going to say, don't worry about it, these other defensemen got it. Well, to me, that's not the right mentality. I didn't like that first goal.
No.
And it almost seemed like it kind of dictated the rest of the game in a sense, because you look at the last goal, similar situation, right? Puck gets turned over. How good was the back check coming back, right? Like sloppiness on the defensive end. That first goal, Wallman, instead of playing, and I understand why he did it, but he played right on top of the crease on one knee as opposed to going to Stamkos and allowing the defenders to sort it out.
They've been doing a lot. He's not the only one, but Belsey, do you think the coaching staff is saying, guys, back off, let the goalie have it? Because they back off a lot. And Bouchard did it a couple of times, not on the goal at the end. But is that something that the coaches are telling them?
Well, I think it's all preference in terms of how you want to play 2-on-1s. Some coaches will tell you to go down on a knee. Some coaches will tell you to be big. Some coaches will tell you to try to read the handedness because it kind of gives you a telltale sign of where guys will move pucks. So there's multiple different ways to teach it. And for the others, maybe they are teaching the guys to get down on one knee. But to me, you want to be able to take away those passing lanes. But at the same time, you're looking for that goaltender to have the shot, because if he's square to the puck, more often than not, he should have that particular shot. Now, on that one there with Stamkos, the difference is that the 2-on-1, a quick 2-on-1 happens. I think Stastny back checks to the back post, Wallman's standing in front of the net, and they give him too much time to reset after looking for that pass across the seam. Then he's able to reset, and then he goes short side.
It's Stamkos, man.
I'd be going after Stamkos. Yeah.
I would not let him have a clean look at any goalie. I don't care who it is. 780-218-9999. And the texter from Cincinnati, that's Jack from Cincinnati. Jack, I got you saved in there, buddy. Thank you. Appreciate that. If we had our EST map of the world where everyone would listen like we did at the old studio, we would put Cincinnati on there because I don't think we had Cincinnati on there to this point. I love it. Very good to see, and we appreciate that. Good to see EST. And the reach is growing, which has been phenomenal. All right, Saskatoon listener. I like this. I have time for it. Saskatoon listener texts in, says, again, poor roster deployment. If you're not in top 6, you aren't really a part of the team. Not sure what Roslovic has done to piss off Knoblauch, but his role is diminishing fast. Would be nice to see a second power play unit as well occasionally. It isn't basketball. Roll the damn lines over. Sask listener. So Roslovic centering the third line. Last night after the game, I actually said, I think he's settling in okay, even though he doesn't really want to be a centerman and has discussed his preference for wing. But they're in a situation now where they kind of need him because the other guys that are options at center, Trent Frederick, not playing great this year. Matthias Janmark doesn't provide any offense. Also bad penalty late in the game. And they were looking for a penalty call because of the bad call on Forsberg. Your other options would be Curtis Lazar, who they healthy scratched tonight. They tried Matt Savoy. It didn't work out for that one game. And it's to the point now where you're putting Roslovic third line center. I mean, listen, there's going to be Popeyes for Dusty tomorrow because Kapanen had some nice plays tonight, and he's continued to put together a nice little stretch here. 5 games, he's played well. He had a couple of nice passes that I thought tonight. But yeah, Roslovic, I wouldn't mind seeing more of him. I get that. Where Saskatoon listener, where I'm with Saskatoon listener, is the roster deployment. I would even go back to who you dressed tonight. Taking out Lazar, putting in Mangiapane a second straight night. I get Ike Howard getting back into action, but the guy you took out, every time you play him, you give him 7 to 10 minutes, and he gives you everything he's got. It ain't pretty. But guess what? He makes positive plays. I am a Lazar apologist. I admit it every time. Known the guy since he was 16 years old. But I have to admit, I try to be as objective as possible watching Curtis, and he tries to do whatever he can to stay in the lineup and make sure that he's helping his team. Look, you can't knock his hustle. It ain't pretty all the time. But most of the time, when he's out there for small segments, it's very effective.
He's safe.
He's
safe.
Go ahead.
Fourth line center.
Safe.
He is exactly
great way to describe him.
He is exactly what you want from a fourth line center. Goes out there, you're going to play him low minutes, like you said, 7 to 10 minutes, and he's going to go hit a guy if he's out there. He's going to go make a defensive play if he's got it. He's going to go chip the puck in and be the first one to go get it. Like he understands his role, and that's a part of being a bottom 6 guy and playing those minutes. You got to understand the role and accept it, but also play safe and not cost your team. When you're out there for those low minutes of time, you need to make sure you're not costing your team. Allow the big boys to make the mistakes. Go on, you go and we can rip on the big boys all we want because they'll eventually turn around and make some better plays.
Well, they're carrying this team.
Exactly, right?
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
But you can't have guys in your bottom 6 blowing plays or just put your team at a disadvantage. And that's what a guy like Mangiapane can do when he isn't playing safe. Curtis Lazar does. And that's to me, he's like the perfect fourth line center. Just let him go out there for his 8 minutes. Let him do his thing.
Listen, to this point in the season, he's a better option than at least 3 or 4 guys. One of them being Adam Henrique, who's hurt long-term.
Yeah, and that's the thing where you look at that roster and you talk about the utilization of guys. And, I know there's multiple people in the Nasty chat that are talking about it and having Nuge at 3C.
Right.
Well, could you do that?
Yes,
could you have him at 3C and have a situation where, you take a page of the Penguins book when they had, I believe it was Crosby, Malkin, Stahl.
Yes.
1, 2, 3 down the middle. Hey, Stahl was good enough to play in the top 6. But he played on the third line. He did great things there. He played on the power play when he needed to. So if you can have those 3, and then you can start to mix in, some of these other guys on the wing, like Howard on the wing, Roslovic on the wing, maybe that rounds and balances out your roster, your lines a little bit more, where they're now all dangerous. And I say that fully knowing that Roslovic and Savoy have a bit of chemistry.
Yes.
You can see it. I would argue that Howard on that line as well has a little bit of chemistry, but do you really want to go with 3 guys of that size on the same line?
Right.
And I don't necessarily know if you do.
I understand that. I've asked that question for the last week.
Yeah, so at the end, when you look at it, I think you have the ability to change things around, but one thing that we know is that it's safe to go Nuge with McDavid and Hyman. It's very safe for that.
And that's been one of the best lines.
And it has been. And you have to understand that, and you have to acknowledge it like you just mentioned. Yeah. But at the same time, hey, you still have some time to tinker with your lineup. You can always go back to Nuge being there. But what happens if you have Nuge at 3C with Savoy and somebody else? Does that change what your roster looks like? Does it allow you to become a little bit more dangerous 1 through 3?
If they won this game in overtime,
we're probably not having this conversation.
Yeah, that's what I'm wondering too. We're really getting into it, but that's what we do, and that's kind of part of covering a team in this market.
Yeah,
is you dive deep, and one little mistake that's costly and costs you a point gets deciphered and picked apart, and here we are. We're discussing it. Benny, you had something to say? You wanted to jump on something there?
It's the small line on the third line is still a small line without Howard there. Mangiapane and Howard are the exact same height, as according to Google. 5'10". Yep. So it's like, so I'm 100% with you. You probably want some size on that line, but Trent Frederick hasn't earned his way to a third line role yet.
Yeah, I agree.
And Mangiapane and Howard, to me, Howard has the better offensive upside at this current point. Like I trust Ike Howard in the offensive zone more than Andrew Mangiapane. So to me, I think you're putting that third line, you're giving Savoy and Roslovic a lesser player in the offensive zone, and a guy that's not necessarily going to do it in his own zone either. There's another point that came up to me during the game. Mangiapane starts a scrum, and he's FUing guys and punching guys and whatever. Great.
He's trying to do stuff.
And I can appreciate that. Is that not like the perfect fourth line? Is that not what you want a Frederick or even Janmark or anyone in that situation to be out there for? Because you see the guys that come swarm that the scuffle, and it's Matt Savoy and Jack Roslovic. Those guys aren't throwing a punch ever. They probably won't ever in their career.
Yeah.
They're not those type of guys, right? Frederick would. Janmark would. Lazar, if he was in the lineup, would. I just feel like Mangiapane, if he's going to play that role, okay, fine, the fourth line, you guys go do that all you want. I don't understand his placement in the bottom 6 right now.
The penalty he took where he grabbed the stick and yanked it out, that's a penalty. I understand where he's coming from, where he's just trying to do anything, and he's trying to play like a pest like he has in the past. He's trying to do what he can to find that again, because he hasn't been getting a lot of opportunities until these last 2 nights. But that wasn't the right time for that.
Yeah, I would agree.
It was not the right time for that, and that's almost like trying too much to do something.
Sometimes when you're not playing as well as you feel like you should, you kind of get into your head a little bit too much, and I like to call it a mental pretzel.
The mental pretzel,
because you can't get out of it. It just keeps going and going and going, and it's hard. And sometimes you just got to simplify your game and understand, okay, well, I'm going to go chip a puck in and I'm just going to go run somebody.
Right.
Or I'm going to go chip this puck in and I'm going to find a way to get to the net and get open and just be a pest there. And, you're scratching and clawing and you're fighting to try to find a way to be an impactful player because that's what you feel you should be. But if you try to overcompensate too much, sometimes it goes the opposite way. And, looking at that penalty, maybe that's what it was. Maybe just had a lapse in judgment. I don't know what that was, but it wasn't a great penalty.
No. And Janmark's penalty, by the way, was not good either.
Yeah.
I mean, at that point in the game, I said to you, I think the refs were looking for a call against the Oilers.
Because the Forsberg call, which was even worse.
That was a bad call.
That was a really bad call.
And then, he just jams his stick in there. Not good. Not good from a guy who should know better. And I know he tries to be aggressive on the forecheck. That was at the blue line too, and just bad awareness on that one. All right, I have some stats to pass along from Brian Swain. Swainer sends this in. It's Oilers points over the last 15 games. McDavid 31, Draisaitl 24, Bouchard 17, Hyman 17, Nugent Hopkins 12. And then after that, Swainer says, no one else has more than 5 points.
Well, I think we just found the issue.
What, depth scoring?
Depth scoring.
Well, we've been talking about this for
We've been
months.
talking about it for a long time, but I don't even know if that's depth scoring. That's just saying, hey, the big boys are carrying this team, and everybody else is not even in the stratosphere.
Close.
That's a concern. You want to have more guys closer to that. I understand you got some of the best players in the world, but they're going to get their points. They're going to be far and away better than that, but I think the stat was nobody else had more than 5.
More than 5, yeah.
Yeah, you want to see a couple guys somewhere in that,
7 to 10?
7 to 10 range.
Even 5 to 10 range.
Yeah, I mean, Kapanen does have 5 points in 5 games. I'm pretty sure that's the stat. So
that is a good point. I'm glad you brought that up, Benny.
Yep.
That is a good point. And Podkolzin, I think, had 4 in the last 14.
Yeah.
Which Kapanen also had, but he had only played the last 4 games. So, they're on the cusp, but a couple more goals.
Yeah.
A couple more goals.
Well, Casino Dealer Jay brings up a point. You can't even bring up depth scoring when their time gets cut like that.
Well, let's look at the time on ice tonight. So we'll go over to the box score tonight. 4-3 Oilers lost in overtime. Yes, weird play to end it. Tristan Jarry, after the chip, tries to play it. Goes to Brady Shea. He feeds it over to Roman Josi, one-timer. Past Evan Bouchard, who tried to make a kick save. I'll give him credit for that, for not getting out of the way like he has been, among others, on the back end. So forwards, time on ice tonight. McDavid, 26-25. Draisaitl, 23-59. Hyman, 19-13. Nugent Hopkins, 20-44. Then it goes to Kasperi Kapanen at 17-43.
And Podkolzin.
Podkolzin at 15-17. And then this is where we see the chasm.
Yeah.
Right? Mangiapane, 10-20. Ike Howard, 6-14. Roslovic had 14-48. Savoy, 12-39. Janmark, 10-01. Frederick, 6-53. So, they leaned on those guys a lot. Again, and not surprising.
I'm not going to sit here and pretend to be an NHL coach. Sure, I coach, but I'm not an NHL coach. I can't tell you the rationale as to why you're going to play Ike Howard 6 minutes. If you have him up in the NHL, you should play him.
It's the AHL Player of the Month in December.
Do you need to play him 20 minutes? No. Do you need to play him 15? No. Can you play him 12 to 14, somewhere in that range?
That's the sweet spot.
That's a sweet spot. Can you give him those minutes? 6 minutes. Why even have him up in the NHL?
He forced their hand by playing so well.
I agree. He played well. He did his part. He did what he was supposed to do. But 6 minutes in the NHL, come on, just send him back down. Because what does that really do?
Dude, I don't know.
That's the hard part of it.
I don't have your answer.
It's a hard part of it because he does exactly what he's supposed to do. He goes down on the farm. He's good about it. I'm sure he didn't like it, but he went down and he lit it up. Yeah. And he said, I'm going to make my way back. So he makes your way back, and then you say, okay, we've got this young player who did a great job of going down to the minors, lighting it up, and now all of a sudden you're going to put him out there for 6 minutes.
And once again,
I'm not a coach in the NHL, and so I don't want to sit there and assume whatever reason that looks like, but man, come on. For face value, come on.
Good point by James too in the nasty chat. 6 minutes for a guy that was rested. He didn't play yesterday. And there's
That's
that
right.
too.
Yeah, also true.
Yes. Very fair point by James. You were a first-round pick. You were a high-end prospect. You got your look, and you got bounced up and down between the minors and the farm or in the big club.
Yep.
Like, what was going through your mind? I know you're a defenseman,
it just pulls your confidence away because you know that, okay, well, I just did it at this level. Now, obviously, the AHL and the NHL are a little different, but there's a ton of players at the AHL level that can play in the NHL. That's just a fact. That's not me trying to skew it and say, hey, well, the AHL is better than what it is. Not saying that. But there is a ton of players that, based off of circumstance, luck, whatever that looks like, could play in the NHL. Mm-hmm. However, the biggest problem that happens way too much in hockey is you have Ike Howard, who's on the first line down in the farm.
Correct.
He plays his ass off, works his way back. Then teams go, okay, let's put him on the fourth line and let's see how he does. To me, once again, that does not make sense. You have him on your first line down there, he produces. Am I telling you that you have to put him with Connor? No, I'm not saying that. But give him an opportunity to showcase that skill set that earned him a spot back in your lineup.
How much is Mangiapane's situation impeding him? Because clearly they put him in for both these games.
Yeah, the Mangiapane, it probably is because they're trying to find a dance partner for him. But at the end of the day, come on. You got a guy that's young. He's working his way back in the lineup. And I will say it again, just for the people in the back that may or may not have heard me. I'm not telling you have to play this guy with McDavid. I'm not telling you that it has to be 18 minutes. I'm just saying 6 minutes is a waste of time for me. 6 minutes, go back down on the farm and continue to percolate. Go back down on the farm and continue to be the best player on the ice, because 6 minutes for a player of his age and his skill set doesn't do anything. Doesn't do anything for his confidence. Could you play him on third line and get him 10 to 12? Yeah, sure. That's just my opinion.
No, in his pockets.
Well, that part's a nice little bonus there for sure. BDA boy says, Belsey, that is a great point. Give the kid a chance to play. Time distribution is heinous, says Loom Tunes. And then James says, have him with Nugent Hopkins try and roll 4 lines with Lazar as a fourth line center. Yeah, I'm okay with that. Picardi 1 says, Manja is barely an NHL player right now. Yeah, it's pretty damn evident. Just time to move on. And they're trying.
Baptized Big Uke. So 22 minutes on top line or bust. Got it, boom, boom.
Oh, that's between you.
Yeah, okay. Okay, Big Uke.
Twitter Mary, thank you for the soup. I'll be having some when I get home tonight. Phenomenal. Thank you to El Presidente. Did you see that ginger shot thing?
Yep.
Yeah, that felt good. Yep. Spicy. Twitter Mary says, the problem with Mangiapane is he does all the disturber kind of stuff, but then takes a stupid penalty. So to paraphrase Maury Povich, you are not a good fourth liner. And it took me so long to type this after the BP half off wine special that I have totally missed the entire discussion. Dave is rolling me home. Cheers, fellas. Great to see Twitter Mary and Dave out here. Great turnout once again here at Boston Pizza. Clairview, lots of fun. Staff here is fantastic. And we always have a good time. We're at Boston Pizza 170th for the game. On Saturday, myself and Boom Boom will be live on location. You saw the T-shirts for Tony?
I did, yep.
Those are going to be hilarious. Stupid Peter says, if the Oilers want depth scoring, Janmark shouldn't be playing anymore. And I know he's my boy, and we joke about it and all that, but he's at best a penalty killer and a fourth liner.
Yeah.
There's no offense there whatsoever. We've known this for 2 years.
Yeah.
Brother Morg says, can BPs turn off the Leafs game in the background? It's disgusting.
Utah scored. Gunther, local guy.
Yeah, there we go. Dylan Gunther, local product. Great Oil King. Good to see. Dan M says, I don't disagree with Ben here. Nobody yells at the TV. Why didn't the goalie run halfway up the ice to stop the play? The goalie stays in his net. It's a low percentage play to have a guy on the ice with 400 pounds of gear to leave the net. Bad play. I understand why he did it. He just didn't get a good piece of it, and then bad support around him. Let's put it that way. It was that game. Did that game have flow?
Not really.
Like, there was exciting plays and moments and clusters and flurries, but it wasn't like it seemed a little herky-jerky at times.
Yeah, it was a little bit sloppy.
Yeah. Different. Very different game. Let's go to Hontorio Momes. Says, TG, I can sum up the loss in 3 words, and the biggest reason, spinning backhand passes. Just because Leon does it doesn't mean everybody can do it. You're just laughing.
Is he wrong?
No, he's right.
Yeah.
I think Ontario Momes is right.
Oh.
If you're not sure, then don't do it. That's why your brain's saying, I don't know if this is a great idea. Even Leon can't do it sometimes. Colorado Rusty texting in says, I'm reporting from Nashville. The boys look decent for a back-to-back, had their chances. Frederick skating like he has cement in his pants. By far the worst Oiler on the ice, unfortunately. They deserve the point they got. Probably not much more. That's Colorado Rusty in Nashville. Mixing the water tonight, Colorado Rusty. Tube Sock says, fun ending to an entertaining game. I love that play from Jarry. This is what Tube Sock's doing one of these.
Yeah.
Stirring it up. Stirring it up. Let's go to Matt texting in. Says, my thoughts on why Mangiapane is in. 1, it's the dad strip, probably trying to get everyone game time. 2, they're hoping to get some trade interest in him. If he can play well, it's not working. Lazar deserves to be in. And yeah, this is a weird juggling that they're trying to do. And again, if they won that game, are we talking about? I think we are still talking about it because
we're
that was
talking
a bad
about a few
penalty.
things. Yep.
Yeah.
We would acknowledge that he tried to mix it up. And then, we would let some stuff go because they won. That's not the case. They blew it. So we're not talking. We're not talking about it in a lighthearted way. Is that fair?
Yep.
Yeah. No, that's very fair. Yep.
Okay, Benny, you go ahead. I gotta blow my nose. I'm sorry, boys. I'm congested.
Hopefully you don't have a bloody nose after.
Dude, that was yesterday. That was great.
I actually had a bloody nose earlier today. I think I'm catching it now. No, I mean, yeah, I think Tom makes a good point. To me, Mangiapane's game, I still would have brought up the Oilers won this one because he is highlighted no matter what game he plays now because of the
situation.
The situation that he's in, right? Like the reports that we've had with his agent, like seek a trade and just all the rumors and everything. Every game he plays now as an Edmonton Oiler will be highlighted as okay, what is he going to do tonight? Is he going to up his trade value? Is he going to do nothing again? Like it's always going to be highlighted.
Yeah. Like I would agree with you guys. I think we're probably not as passionate about the roster composition if they win this game, but at the same time, I'll stand by what I said when it comes to Ike Howard. I don't believe he needs to play with McDavid. I don't believe he needs to be in the top 6, but I do believe that 6 minutes isn't the answer for a player like him.
Yeah.
So to me, we're probably still having this conversation, but if they win, there's probably a little bit more jubilation. Yep,
absolutely. 100%. But it's okay. It's okay to put it under the microscope, and that's what a loss does. The end result dictates the conversation, and that's fine. But, I think we would still be talking about Mangiapane, maybe not as harshly, but definitely negatively after watching what we did tonight. Okay, we're going to go inside the Oilers locker room here. We're going to hear from Chris Knoblauch and Zach Hyman. I'm going to let Benny Thompson pick who we hear from first. And then lots of texts coming in. Continue to bring those in, and we'll read them. 780-218-9999. Get to the nasty chat as well. Benny, I'll pass it off to you and let us know where we're going next.
Let's hear from Zach Hyman from the locker room tonight.
It was okay. Not great. I think we can be better off back-to-backs, making simple plays. I thought we were too complicated. Caused too many unforced errors. I thought Jars played great. And then special teams were good.
Do you have any explanation for that overcomplication? Is it because it's the second half of the back-to-back, maybe a little bit more tired?
No, I don't know if it's a fatigue thing. I think it's just a mindset. I think for whatever reason today we weren't playing as smart as we can. And, I think it just caused too many turnovers, and some led to goals, others led to just time of possession in our end when we're better playing in their end, obviously.
What did you find was the biggest challenge that the Predators presented tonight?
I think a lot of it was just self-inflicted, to be honest. They got good players. You give them the puck, they can do things with it. So, I think we just have to take care of our own game.
This group has still collected 8 of a potential 10 points in the last 5 games. How would you assess the way you guys have been building lately?
Yeah, it's good, obviously. You want to stack points. Even when you lose games, it's better to gain a point. But I think we're coming along. I think we have another level to get to. We got some guys returning from injury, obviously, which is a great sign. I thought it was a good first game for them. I thought Jarry was outstanding, earning us that extra point. I thought Wally was good in his return. So good to get those guys back.
I know it's not the result you want tonight, but this was a special trip. Of course, having your dad along, he was incredibly proud up in that suite. How special have these last few days been? Yeah,
listen, it's always special. We've been on a couple, I think 4 now, but everyone is special. You have to gain an appreciation for how special it is to be playing in the NHL, and I think I can speak for all of us when I say our dads have been such an important part in our journey, in mentoring us and supporting us when things are tough, and cheering us on when things are going well. For me, just such a strong support system for me and such a positive influence. And I'm sure you guys can see we have a lot of similarities. I get a lot of who I am from him, and very lucky to have him as my dad.
Okay, that was Zach Hyman. Obviously very well spoken as always. And, good stuff about the father strip. We've talked a lot about it. It was in a short period of time because they squeezed in the strip. Self-inflicted wounds, what he said, is something that stood out to me. Paige took him to a spot, and he went with it, which was great. Mm-hmm. She said, what did Nashville do? And give Nashville some credit, but he's right. Like, ultimately, it was costly mistakes.
Yep.
Unforced.
Good recognition. Ultimately, it was a lot of turnovers, and we kind of in jest talked about it, but like the spinning no-look backhand passes to nobody.
That's an unforced error.
That's an unforced error.
They're not going to giggle about it. They're like,
they had a lot of plays like that where you thought that they probably could have got a little bit more.
Right.
There was some missed opportunities at the net where there was wide open plays. I just think that there was a lot of self-inflicted wounds, and unfortunately it ended up costing the Oilers. But you do have to give credit to the Nashville Predators in the way that they played. They played a scrappy game. They clogged up the middle. They clogged up the neutral zone, and they tried to keep the Oilers to the outside as much as they could. Yeah. And they wanted to be opportunistic, saying, okay, well, when you make your turnover, we're going to try to go back the opposite way, and we're going to try to capitalize. That's how we need to win this game.
Yeah, they seem to have quite a bit of determination in their game tonight after losing 6-2 here not long ago. Just a scoreboard update for you in regard to the standings. Vegas idle again tonight. The Oilers pull even with the Golden Knights at 54 points, but Vegas has 4 games in hand. They play LA tomorrow.
3 games in hand.
Pardon me, 3 games in hand. Yeah, thank you. The Kraken are at 50 points right now, 4 points back of the Oil. 3 games in hand as well. So a little bit of slipping, but Paige also said, 8 out of a possible 10 points in the last 5 games. That's good.
It is good.
However, if you're looking at everything and you're stressing on the standings day by day, that's how I used to do it, because that was just my nature. I'd be like, geez, giving up points at a bad time. And listen, they can make up for it. A lot of 4-point games coming up, especially against the Golden Knights and Seattle certainly, but still, you kind of pissed one away. So I don't personally like pissing points away. I don't play for the team, but if I did, I would be like, we up tonight.
they have a 4-point opportunity Saturday against a team that, as of right now, just lost its 8th straight game. And Jake
Do you feel bad for that team?
No, absolutely not. And Jake DeBrusk, I'm seeing a quote. Jake DeBrusk says, "I've never lost this many games in a row in my life." It's bad times over there in Vancouver. They play Columbus on Thursday, and if they lose that one against the coaching bump that the Blue Jackets, I assume, will get with Rick Bowness coming in, the Oilers will have to avoid being slump busters on Saturday night against Vancouver, which I'm curious to see.
Well, sometimes they are slump busters, unfortunately, or milestone. They're at the milestones for other teams. Columbus, by the way, with Rick Bowness behind the bench for his first game as a Blue Jackets head coach, 5-3 winners over the Calgary Flames earlier tonight. I want to get to a couple texts, so we'll go back inside the Oilers locker room. This one says Gazzola has Snezola issues. Yes, I've been sick for the last 4 or 5 days. I apologize. I apologize. I'm spewing out words. I'm tripping over them.
Guy Flaming's got a great one.
Oh, Guy Flaming. Hey. Also, is Tom Gazzola trying to earn consideration for the gutsy performance, SD, by doing another post-game show sounding like he's dying? Thank you, Guy. Thank you.
He's very nasally.
I know. It's just, I feel like it's almost gone. And thank you for putting up with me. I'm stubborn Italian Polak that doesn't want to not work. So there you go. Let's go to Coach Mike. He says, I didn't like the 3-3 goal. Power play puts the Oilers ahead. They give it right back 38 seconds later. Awful in their own zone. Even Winnipeg manages to win 3 straight games after losing 11 in a row. Silver lining, Oilers are 3-0-2 in their last 5. That's from Coach Mike. All right, take us inside the Oilers locker room, Benny Thompson.
All right, here's Chris Knoblauch after the game tonight.
Played tonight.
Just okay. I think we got off to a slow start and just looked like we were a step behind. They looked a lot fresher and a little faster than us tonight. And we just wanted to be easy. I know there was a lot of turnovers, which allowed them to get the puck and countered on us, and where we had to defend, where I think we had to simplify it a little bit more and make them defend and make it harder for them to break pucks out.
Zach said that a lot of the errors were self-inflicted. He didn't necessarily feel like the Nashville Predators were doing anything specific. Would you agree with that?
No, the effort was great. I don't think they were doing anything out of the ordinary. I think we just made it easier on them by just trying to force plays and turning over the pucks rather than just establishing a forecheck. It's nice getting the puck carried in and getting a scoring chance right off the start, but that's, if they're in good position, if they're defending well, you have to simplify and then establish the forecheck.
Your group has still collected 8 of a potential 10 points in the last 5 games. How would you assess the way that you guys have been building lately?
I think some of those games could have went either way, but overall, I'm happy for us to be winning more games than we're losing. It'd be nice to get us a little roll and get some traction. We haven't had any long winning streaks. We haven't had any long losing streaks. We've been pretty consistent, but I think there's a little more for us that we can build on our game.
What did you make of the returns of Tristan Jarry first and then Jake Walman?
I think they're both gave us a good game. I think about Walman's play, and we made a lot of good breakout passes, especially in the offensive zone. I recall the one to Draisaitl one-timer through their coverage, led to a great scoring chance, a couple good breakouts, and for a guy that hadn't played for quite a long time, I think that was a very strong start. With Tristan, I think he was a solid game. He's been spectacular for us, but obviously having the break, maybe he wasn't on top of his game, but overall I think it was still pretty solid.
All right, there is head coach Chris Knoblauch, and pretty straightforward there. Turnovers, played just okay. Chatted about the guys coming back into the lineup. That's something we haven't done. Jake Walman and Tristan Jarry tonight, you guys. Let's hit on them. I'll start by saying I thought Tristan Jarry made some really nice saves. The screen on the Yossi goal?
First one.
Yep.
Yeah. He had a couple of Oilers in front of him, and then whoever from the Preds jumped up was right in his face, and that was a blast. I'm not putting that on him. The game winner He tried to make a play, a little bit risky. Obviously, it cost them. Could have had some help from some back checks. Made some big saves. And I saw some texts and read one or two earlier talking about the concern for his movement and if he would re-aggravate his injury. Seemed to be okay. So that was a good thing.
Yeah.
I'll pass it off to you on Jake Wallman, and you can obviously hit on Jarry as well.
Yeah, I mean, I thought that Jarry played a very good game, and if they didn't have him in net, they lose that game in regulation for sure.
Even with Ingram?
Well, you can't necessarily say, well, is Ingram going to play well? Like, Jarry made a lot of really good saves.
Yeah.
He kept the Oilers in it, in particular in the third period when they were really pushing hard.
Yes.
So, yeah, if Jarry didn't play that game, I think they lose in regulation. Now, once again, you have Ingram, you have Pickard, you have no idea what's going to happen there, but based on just the fact that Jarry played, yeah, he played that well that he kept them in the game and he gave them a chance to win. Wallman, I thought was solid. I didn't think he was his normal self in the way that he skates. Obviously, the way that he's an impactful player on the offensive end.
He missed 7 weeks,
but I thought he was a very solid player.
Yeah.
Given the fact he was out for 7 weeks, I thought he played a really good game. Now, the goal that was scored against him, I just think he played in no man's land, right? Where that first one to Stamkos, he's playing in no man's land. But at the end of the day, his overall game, I thought, was pretty good.
Hopefully he builds on it. This blue line is better with him on it and healthy. And allows a guy like Regula to get mixed in there probably more appropriately than playing second pairing or even third pairing at times. So let's see if these guys can take it. Good stuff from Jarry at times, and then let's see if Wallman, like Belzy alluded to, can start to put together his game. It's been a long time for him. November 20th against Tampa.
Yeah,
was his last game.
A long time. It's a long time out of the lineup.
That was the client.
That's right. Yeah,
absolutely.
A long time ago.
Nugent Options via the nasty chat says, does Knoblauch ever get mad? And Corn Chip Guy Gunch, which you like Corn Chip Guy Gunch.
Oh, yeah. I thought it was a really good answer back. Well, there's no point in being snarly with the media.
Yeah,
he's professional. He does his thing. You don't know what happens in the dressing room. That could be a completely different conversation.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And I think there was a leaked video where he was giving it to the team. So he probably does get mad. But behind the scenes,
that on camera,
do your thing.
Yeah, absolutely.
In front of the media, do your thing.
We have seen coaches like that in the past who are, well, listen, we've seen a lot of coaches like that are one way with the media and then completely different with the team. I'll be perfect.
Like, do you want John Tortorella?
No.
No, like nobody wants a John Tortorella.
No. I could tell you a few coaches who are different with their team than they are with the media, and it didn't last long.
Yeah.
Here and other markets. Not just other guys. Corn Chip Guy Gunch, he says. I'm just reading it on the
Corn Chip Gunch.
That's what it comes up as, but he wants to be Corn Chip Guy Gunch. He mixes it up. I just noticed Corn Chip Guy Gunch and kind of like it. Belzy, you gave him props. You're like, I like this guy. Yeah.
It's good stuff.
All right, let's get to what?
He shouted out the great Nietzsche's in St. Albert, the Don't Air plays, and there's a Redders with a great slurp. Yeah, I might have to go pick one up on my way home. Oh, God.
You tempted, are you?
Yeah. They got
you tempted? I like that. It's on the way home for you from the studio. I love that. I can tell you this. Nietzsche's, by the way, Peter from Nietzsche's, the owner, he is a phenomenal human being. He's done catering for different tournaments, hockey schools. That's when I dealt with him. He would do our 1260 golf tournament back in the day, and we always chat with him. And he's great because he always gives to kids.
Yeah,
he's got grandkids, and he always wants to make sure kids are fed and they're taken care of. And in my experiences, very caring man, and I've had nothing but great experiences with him. So, Corn Chip Guy Gunch, nicely done. Nicely done. Corn chips are delicious too, by the way. All right, let's get to the turning point of the game, brought to you by our good friends over at Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. of course, at Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. They like to point out that Connor McDavid's got a team of specialists while you have a bag of frozen peas, not corn chips. Get the same locker room approach trusted by the best in the game at Advantage Sport Medicine. Book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. I'm just going to go to the last play of the game. It was the deciding factor. We could go to the penalties, the equalizer, short, less than 40 seconds after the Oilers took the lead and looked like, hey, maybe they get away from this game cleanly with a win. But it was kind of a broken play after a long possession, bad decision, where they shot themselves in the foot, like Zach Hyman alluded to. And then, puck gets chipped. That was a clever play to chip it by Brady Shea. Great. And then it creates confusion, and Tristan Jarry goes out and plays it. Doesn't get all of it, and then it's Shea back to Yossi. Yossi bangs it in on the one-timer. That is the turning point of the game, brought to you by Advantage Sport Medicine and Physiotherapy. If you got something ailing you, old injury, busted up knee, shoulder, back, whatever, go check them out and book your assessment today, www.advantagesportmed.ca, or call 780-460-9977. Want to add anything?
No, that was good. I really liked it.
Betty, anything?
No, I'm just thinking of my segment here. And you guys touched on this player quite a bit. I don't know if you want to get to it now. But.
You want me to read a couple texts first?
Sure, yeah, let's do that.
Or do you want to just go into it? It's up to you.
Let's do a couple of texts first and save it for the end.
All right. Jack from Cincinnati wants to know, does Calvin Pickard have any trade value? Belsey, I'll push that on you.
No. That's a really good question.
Because the argument against him is the stats this year.
Yeah.
But he won 20 games last season, 7-1 in the playoffs.
Yeah, but it's a what have you done for me lately league.
And the results
right now,
not great.
The results aren't great. His numbers aren't great. So I would say you don't have a ton of trade value. Take care. You don't have a ton of trade value. So I don't personally see it.
And everybody knows Edmonton's situation, so they're not going to be clamoring, right?
Yeah.
But I know people are bringing up that James Reimer got a contract
in Ottawa
recently.
Yeah, but James Reimer wasn't on anybody's radar. In the sense that he wasn't playing. So when you watch somebody play and your numbers are not very good, most people go, okay, I don't really want that because he's not up to snuff.
Right.
But if you have a guy that's sitting there and based off of what you saw from the Spengler Cup, you're like, he's kind of good. You still might have it. And so you take that risk on a player like that. You're not going to go out and you don't actually have to trade for somebody. That's just a free guy.
It was an AHL contract too.
It was.
Yeah, it wasn't even. There's nothing there. So
to me, if you're trying to trade Ingram, you're not going to get a whole lot. But to me, there's no way he clears through waivers.
You mean Pickard.
Oh, sorry, Pickard. Sorry, yes, Pickard. Yes. I don't think he will clear through waivers. I think some team, like in Ottawa, I think over in Carolina, Kochetkov, done for the year. I think a team's gonna need a goalie, and they're gonna like his track record a little bit. So I understand his numbers are not great this year, but I still think he can be a solid goalie when called upon, and I think a team would be willing to take a chance.
Yeah,
I agree with you guys. But right now there's not a lot of trades happening in the NHL.
If you know he's going to become
that would be number one,
for free,
right?
You're not trying to trade anyone.
And most goaltenders, I think somebody said it right here, 83 runner, the goals against of the league is terrible. But if you're the worst goals against in the league that's not good, goals against wise, well, do you think somebody's going to be running to try to trade for you? It's not happening. So as much as we know and we've seen here, Pickard has the ability he raise his level and to, go stretches where he's really good and he battles hard. But at the same time, you're not going out and running to try to trade for Pickard. If he goes through waivers, different conversation.
Picardy1 says, Hard to have good numbers in front of this team. Yeah. Okay, one more before we get to the player of the game. This comes in from Pizza Boy on the Nasty Chat. Says, I'd like your thoughts on the Nurse fight. Why did he take that fight in an arena they dominate? Why allow the crowd and Nashville to get energized? What would you say?
Because McCarron was being a donkey the last time these guys played, and he's got to answer the bell. That's why you take the fight. Do I necessarily, McCarron didn't do anything to really generate energy in that particular fight. I thought Nurse was more active in it. Thought Nurse was a little bit
jostled.
They jostled for most of it, but I mean, Nurse throws the punches. Nurse also says to McCarron, like, you're not going to do what you did in Edmonton. You're not going to run around and be that guy, which, guess what? You didn't see him run around like he was in Edmonton. So that's why he takes that fight to say, hey, here's some accountability for you. You're not going to have the opportunity to do this. And you probably should own up, and you got to, face the music when you were being a bit of a donkey in Edmonton.
It's a principle thing.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Well said,
I bet you the dad's trip has something to do with it too. I think Darnell wants to fight with his dad in the stands.
We didn't see him beat his ass.
We saw him. They panned to him here. He had a couple of reactions. Yeah, it was definitely not a beat his ass. Because it wasn't that great of a fight.
He was just kind of like, okay. Yeah. By the way, Richard Nurse, for your information, was a receiver with the Hamilton Tiger Cats.
Yeah.
So I liked how they had him read out the lineup last night. And people were like, oh, he doesn't get the name with the clap. You know how they do that?
Yeah.
I was like,
I feel like everybody has
his own way.
Yeah, everybody should have their own style of doing it. Like, to me, it's on our team, we have like the guys will like do like the slap their pants and then clap.
Yeah.
And then guys will do it and they don't really, and they're like, oh, you're up. Oh, McDavid, you're up. Drysdale, you're up. And it's like boring. I'm like, put a little swag to it.
He did.
And he did.
Had swag.
So like, I thought it was great.
He's like, Mom.
Everybody should have their own.
Man.
Yeah. Everybody should have their own style when it comes to that.
Yeah. Like I laughed. When who did he call Hyman? Called him Pretty Boy.
Pretty boy.
Pretty boy.
he's like, well, and all I could think of was Hyman took a slap shot to the Bouchard slap shot to the nose last year, and he's like, yeah, when I touched my nose, it sounded like crumpling a bag of potato chips. I was like, oh no. Hyman hustles, man.
He's awesome.
I thought that was a great video from him yesterday, but a little subdued after the opening face-off fight from Richard Nurse, but I'm sure those boys are having a good time. I hope they're not traveling back tonight. I hope they're staying behind. No information yet from Oilers PR. I hope they get to stick around, have a fun night. Nashville come back tomorrow, and then regroup for the New York Islanders on Thursday night. All right, Benny, I'm going to hand off the floor to you, and you can take it from there with the player of the game, brought to you by David Bunting Real Estate.
David Bunting Real Estate, player of the game. David Bunting has been a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 18 years. He and his team would love to help you find the right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out at davidbunting.com or visit Instagram at David Bunting Real Estate. This guy, to be fair, I don't think there's a whole lot of like player of the games tonight. Like I feel like there's some guys that just played solid, some guys that just weren't great. This kind of is what it is. But for a guy that was hurt for a while, to come back with his return, and I thought he played pretty solid. Jake Wallman, man, I thought he was missed. You can tell. Just the simple swap out for Regula for Wallman, I think is a pretty big upgrade for this team. There was the one shift he had where he blocked a 2-on-1, puck gets regrouped in the neutral zone, and then he blocked a 3-on-2 play, stops a shot there too. So I thought he was pretty solid, man. And when this team's flying at all, and they're doing well, they need Jake Wallman on that back end. I think he's a big
firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, that's one. I
got you. Don't worry, I've been forgetting words.
Firing all cylinders. Jake Wallman on the back end is very important for this team. So I think he gets David Bunting player of the game tonight.
Nice, Benny.
You know who used to like cross up two idioms and sayings basically? Brian Smith used to do that.
Really?
It happens. like getting 2 birds stoned at once. I still love that one. I think it's great. It's a Rickyism, but it's a funny one. All right, let's look ahead to Thursday really quickly before we wind things down here on the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show. Once again, big thank you to everybody at Boston Pizza Clairview. We had a tremendous night. So much fun. They're great here. Check them out. This screen, Bellsy, how good is this screen?
It's beautiful.
Yeah. 174 inches. Like, It's like a video board, basically, from a Jumbotron.
That's amazing.
Put it into a lounge at BP's Clairview, which is great. All right, Thursday, you get the New York Islanders. Mixed results, sometimes tough nights against the Islanders.
Yep.
They're having a decent season. You're the Oilers. You're licking your wounds a little bit because you self-inflicted wounds, by the way.
Well, I think the Islanders are a little bit different of a team. Like, they're not playing that, boring style of hockey. It's a little bit more upbeat. It's a little bit more in your face. So you're gonna have a tough test because Patrick Waugh's teams historically are pretty solid and they play an upbeat, fast-paced game. But they still
Lou
play.
Lamoriello.
It's not a Lou Lamoriello team, but they still play with a little bit of defensive responsibility, but you can see where they're trying to get to. You got Schaefer on the back end, who's electric. You got Barzell, who hasn't been as electric as he's been in the past, but he's still a very good hockey player. They've got really good pieces, and they're starting to build upon it. So, they're 25-15. They got 55 points. It's going to be a good test for the Oilers, and I think that the Oilers got to get back to the game where they're not just shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah,
and they got to play a simple game. They got to play a smart game, and the last thing you can do is just give up pucks against Patty Waugh's teams because they're going to turn the puck and they're going to get back into that transition game, and they're going to put a lot of pressure on you and the defensive game that you have. So. Should be a tough test, but I think the Oilers, if they can play their style of hockey and really start to push the pace and establish a forecheck, I think the Oilers can win the game.
They did lose in Winnipeg tonight, and they're going to be a little bit feisty. All right, final thoughts from you, Benny Thompson.
It's disappointing end result today, but they can have a good game on Thursday. They get to play a good team to beat Saturday night against Vancouver, which I'll be excited about. But yeah, for Thursday, just get back on the horse, man. You've gotten, points in your past 5 straight games. What's it, 8 to 10 points? So pretty solid. Keep up the decent play. Hopefully good play on Thursday, and see if we can get a win against the Islanders.
Very well said. I'll just say this. Clean it up on Thursday. Clean it up, and you should be fine. Yeah. That's going to do it for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream post-game show here at Boston Pizza Clairview. Thank you to Sarah. Thank you to Brianne. Thank you to Jaden. Thank you to Lisa and Jason for coming out or for having us here. To all the nasties who came out tonight, thank you guys so much. It was wonderful. We're making some new friends here in BP Clairview. We're going to be at Boston Pizza 170th with Tony Curtis and Matt, who came out here tonight, which was great. Good to see the boys. Lots of great prizes. Jerseys, NFL jerseys on Saturday will be part of the package. Belsey and I will be on location. We're going to drag Benny down there. Hopefully some of the other boys from EST come on down. Maybe Jazzy comes out. It'd be good to have her as well. And you can take advantage of a lot of great game day specials. Pasta Tuesday every day this month, which is tremendous. For Belsey, for Benny, I am Tommy saying thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. We always appreciate it. Until next time, ciao for now. See you tomorrow.